Hi, it's Dennis Daly. The golden age of radio was one of the shortest golden ages of all time, yet during its run, radio brought about immense change in America. Radio brought us through the Depression and the Second World War, and then struggled on until television finally won the battle for supremacy in American media. Radio had begun just after the turn of the last century as dots and dashes, listened to by do-it-yourself radio enthusiasts. Then early voice transmissions brought radio into its first age. By the 30s, the techniques were perfected, the networks were in place, and radio was on its way. The war changed everything, as did the coming of television. On the night of September 30th, 1962, when yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and Suspense signed off on the CBS radio network, the golden age ended. But radio's final 25 years were golden indeed. So join me now as we explore radio's last 25 years. 1942 was the first full year of the Second World War. Americans were glued to their radios. FDR gave his fireside chats. He was the radio president, the first American chief executive to call his fellow citizens my friends. In an underground lab at the University of Chicago, 3 scientists, Enrico Fermi, Edward Teller, and Leo Szilard, would carry off the first nuclear reaction. The movie Casablanca premiered, and in the winter, Americans began singing a brand new holiday song, White Christmas. The Yankees were beaten by the Cardinals in the World Series. The new Allied coalition that included the U.S. and Canada meant some interesting Canadian-made radio shows were coming across the border, including this next one, Murder Clinic. We'll hear a classic episode of that show, and then another 1942 favorite, The Lone Ranger.
Murder Clinic. Stories of the world's great detectives of fiction. Men against murder. Each week at this time, WOR Mutual turns the spotlight on one of the great figures of crime detection and brings you his most exciting case. Tonight, Agatha Christie's unique detective Hercule Poirot in the tragedy at Marsden Manor. Evening, Monsieur Poirot. I'd recognize you anywhere, I think, thanks to those magnificent mustachios of yours.
Merci bien. They are very magnificent, no?
They are indeed. Tell me, did they help you solve the tragedy at Marsden Manor?
No. It was the little gray cells in the brain of the great Hercule Poirot that prevented this great miscarriage of justice in the death of Richard Maltravers of Marsden Manor. It all began in the little village of Marsden Lea, less than 100 kilometers from London.
Coming. Yes, what is it?
Be you Dr. Bernard?
Yes, I am.
Come quick, the master's done for.
You mean Mr. Maltravers of the manor?
Aye, the master. The mistress, she says, fetch the doctor, she says. But it bean't no use. He's a dead un. I knows a dead un when I see un.
What was it, man? An accident?
No, bean't no accident. I found him in the lower meadow, with the blood running out of his mouth. Be a stroke.
A stroke?
That's what it be.
Well, hurry, man, let's go. Come now, Mrs. Maltravers. You must get hold of yourself. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. After all, we are all of us mortal.
But why, Richard? He was so good, so kind. Why did this have to happen to him?
Oh, come, please.
He seemed so well, so full of life. Why, only last week he passed a medical examination for insurance. How could he have died so suddenly? Doctor, what happened?
A hemorrhage due to stomach ulcers, undoubtedly, resulting in a stroke.
Mr. Hyde.
Hello, Poirot.
You know my good friend Captain Hastings, no?
Good morning, Captain Hastings.
Morning, sir.
Well, Poirot, you got my message, I see.
I did. What is it that disturbs you, mon ami? Richard Maltravers dies. You sent for Poirot. What was the cause of Monsieur Maltravers' death?
The death certificate says a hemorrhage resulting in a stroke due to stomach ulcers.
But surely you did not bring Papa Poirot here to talk of the stomach ulcers. This Richard Maltravers had taken out the insurance policy in your company, no?
And what a policy. For £50,000.
Well, good square sum, that, huh?
Rather.
So, what is it you wish me to do? It is unfortunate for your company, but everything seems, how you say, open and above the plank, no?
No, Poirot. Open and above board.
Ah, my good friend, the great Hastings. Always he corrects the English of Hercule Poirot. Monsieur Wright, I ask you, do I not speak the English of a superb?
You do indeed. But to get back to your previous question, what my company wishes you to do is to investigate the circumstances of Mr. Maltravers' death.
So, what is it you suspect, mon ami?
Well, of course, you know in the case of suicide, the policy is invalid.
Yes.
And when a man past the prime of life takes out an unusually large policy in favor of a young wife half his age and then dies within 2 weeks, the possibility of suicide cannot be ignored.
Oh, with certainty, mon ami. But suicide by hemorrhage? That is a queer saucepan of fish. Now, if the cause of death had been heart failure, then I would smell a mouse. Heart failure can always mean that a stupid doctor did not find the true cause. But hemorrhage, ma foi, hemorrhage is, well, hemorrhage.
Exactly. Nevertheless, we are determined to proceed with the matter. You will undertake the inquiry?
But of course. Hastings, that great professor of English, shall go with me. Eh, mon ami?
Gladly, Poirot.
Eh bien. Now, where is this place, this Marsden Manor?
You take the Great Eastern Line from Liverpool Station to the little town of Marsden Lee. Marsden Manor is about a mile from the village.
Marsden Lee. All right, Hastings, we go.
So this is Marsden Lee, eh? I hope we can get a conveyance up to the manor.
Ticket, sir.
Here you are, my friend.
I suppose you'll be coming down for the funeral, sir?
Funeral? What funeral?
You say you've made a funeral of Master Maltravers about the manor.
Oh, you said the manor. Could that be Marsden Manor?
Aye, it be.
That is an odd coincidence. My friend and I, we have come down with a thought of buying this Marsden Manor.
You couldn't pay me to live there, you couldn't.
Why not?
It be haunted.
Haunted?
Aye, haunted. Seen things there, folks says.
Yeah, we should see. Now, could you tell us where a Dr. Bernard lives?
Aye, up yon hill, about half a mile.
There. Come, Hastings. I understand, Dr. Bernard, that you signed the death certificate of a Mr. Richard Maltravers.
Yes, I did.
You understand, Doctor, with such a big policy, we must make the careful investigation.
Of course. I suppose he was such a rich man, his life was insured for a big sum,
You consider him a rich man, Doctor?
Well, was he not? He kept 2 cars, you know, and Marsden Manor is a pretty big place to keep up. Although I believe he bought it very cheaply.
I understand he had considerable losses of late.
That's so, indeed. It's fortunate for his widow, then, that there is this insurance.
Yes.
Very beautiful and charming young creature, but terribly unstrung by this sad catastrophe. I've tried to spare her all I could, but of course the shock has been very great.
Why shock? These ulcers of the stomach, they are what you call chronic,
Yes.
They are not sudden.
No.
Did you not attend Mr. Maltravers before, Doctor?
My dear sir, I never attended him.
What?
I understand Mr. Maltravers was a member of a faith-healing sect.
But you examined the body,
Certainly. I was fetched by one of the under gardeners.
and the cause of death was clear?
Absolutely. There was blood on the lips, but most of the bleeding must have been internal.
He had not been moved?
No, the body hadn't been touched. He had evidently been out shooting crows, and a long-barreled bird gun lay beside him. The hemorrhage must have occurred quite suddenly. Gastric ulcers, without a doubt.
He could not have been shot, huh?
My dear sir,
I beg pardon, but I remember once a doctor who said heart failure until the constable showed him a bullet wound for the head.
You will find no bullet wounds on the body or head of Mr. Maltravers. Now, gentlemen, if there's nothing further,
Thank you, doctor. Just one more thing. You saw no need for the autopsy, huh?
Certainly not. The cause of death was perfectly clear. In my profession, we see no need to distress unduly the relatives of a dead patient. Now, gentlemen, if you'll pardon me, good day.
Well, Hastings, what do you think of our good Dr. Bernard?
Bit of an old fool.
Precisely. Your judgments of character are always profound, mon ami. Except where a young and beautiful woman is concerned. So now you must mind your Q's and P's, because the good doctor has said that the next one we see is both young and beautiful. This Madame Maltravers. Madame Maltravers, I cannot tell you how I am sorry to bother you in this way.
Must I be bothered now? I know nothing about this insurance of my husband.
Courage, madame. It is necessary. I will do all to make this matter not too unpleasant for you. I, Hercule Poirot, swear it. If you would recount briefly the sad events of last Wednesday, huh?
Well, I was changing for tea when the maid came up. One of the gardeners had just run up to the house. He'd found Richard.
No, I comprehend. Enough. You had seen your husband earlier in the afternoon?
No, not since lunch. I'd walked down to the village for some stamps. I believe he was out pottering around the grounds.
Shooting the crows, no?
Yes, so I understand. He usually took his bird gun with him. In fact, I heard one or two shots at a distance.
So? Where is this bird gun now?
In the gun cabinet over there, I suppose.
With your permission, madame. Yeah, here it is. Ah, 2 shots fired, I see. And now, madame, a delicate question. Monsieur Maltravers, your husband, is awaiting burial, I believe?
Yes. He's lying in his room.
If I might see?
Why, yes, of course. It's the first room at the top of the stairs. You'll forgive me if I don't go with you.
What, of course. Hastings, you remain here with madame.
Do you think Mr. Poirot will understand why I didn't go with him?
I can assure you, Mrs. Maltravers, Poirot is most sympathetic.
I don't doubt it, Mr. Hastings. I only wish there was more that I could tell him.
Oh, I understand.
Oh, but look, you have another visitor. Someone is coming up to walk, huh?
Archie!
Hello,
You! Why, I thought you were on your way back to Australia.
Yes, I was. But I read the news of Uncle's death in Paris and hurried back. Emily, my dear, is there anything I can do for you? Anything?
Oh, of course not. What could you do? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. Mr. Poirot, this is Captain Black, my husband's nephew. Captain Black, Mr. Hastings.
How down?
Emily, how did this happen? Uncle seemed perfectly well when I was here Monday night.
You've evidently read the papers, Archie. You must know what happened.
But they gave no details, just the bare notice of his death. What happened?
Archie, I just can't go through all that again.
Yes, Captain Black, I'm afraid my friend and I, we have disturbed madame.
What are you doing here?
I am Hercule Poirot, the Hercule Poirot.
Mr. Poirot is from the insurance company, Archie.
That's just why I've come back. To protect you from annoyances like this.
Shouldn't have risked your job, Archie. If you left right away, you might still get to Paris in time to make your boat train.
You say Paris, mon capitaine. You go to Australia by way of Paris?
Why, yes. I intended taking the Orient Express from there and pick up the Pacific Mail at Port Said.
Ah, oui. That shortens the journey, does it not? You are staying here, Captain Black?
Yes, I'm staying at the Pig and Thistle. That's the inn down in the village.
Ah, Village Inn. It serves the roast beef, no?
Why, yes, I suppose so.
Good. So, Hastings, let us try this roast beef at the Pig and Thistle, huh?
All right, Poirot. Now you've had your roast beef. Hadn't we better be getting back to London?
No, not so fast, my good Hastings. London, she will not run away. But this Captain Black, he may do so. A garçon!
For heaven's sake, Poirot. English inns don't have garçon.
No? Then who is it who approaches?
What do you have, Governor?
For my friend, the dictionary. For me, a bock.
He means beer, George.
I mean the ale.
Right-o, Governor. You've been up at the Manor, sir?
I mean, yes, we have.
Yeah, sad business, that. I knew no good had come of it as soon as they took the man.
You mean this, Maltravers? They were not popular?
Well, not that, Governor. He was a bit too old for her, if you know what I mean.
Awesome.
She might better have married the nephew. At least, I'll bet a bob the nephew thought so.
There has been the gossip, huh?
Well, I wouldn't go so far as that, Governor. But he did hang around a bit.
And the husband, Mr. Maltravers? He object?
Not as I knows of, Governor. But I is my opinion, I is.
Without the doubt, it is the worst opinion, no, George? But the Captain Black, here he comes now.
Hello, Poirot. Here you are.
Captain Black, come, will you not join us? Bock, perhaps?
Yes, thanks. I don't mind if I do. Wait, a mug of ale.
Right-o, Governor.
Sad business, this death of your uncle, huh?
Yes, and so sudden, too. He seemed in excellent health when I dined with him Monday night.
So? And was he also in good spirits? What did he say? Or what was the talk at this dinner Monday night?
Oh, I don't know. The usual general topics.
I see.
My uncle asked about my people. We talked of Australia.
Yes.
Then Mrs. Maltravers asked a lot of questions about East Africa, where I've spent some time. I told them one or two yarns. That's about all, I think.
Madame Maltravers seems much upset at the death of her husband, no?
Naturally. They've been married less than a year.
So I hear. A remarkable woman, this lady.
Remarkable in what way? What do you mean?
She has, how you say, the seeing eye. I hear her tell Hastings. She does the seance. He seems most interested, no, Hastings?
Oh, I wouldn't go so far as that.
Always the conservative Hastings. Me? I am not so.
Why, Mr. Poirot, don't tell me you believe in this psychic stuff.
Oh, I have not the closed mind. For example, Captain Black, you have told us all that your conscious self knows. Now, with your permission, I would question your subconscious, huh?
Psychoanalysis, eh? Well, it's nonsense, but I don't mind.
Merci. It is like this. I give you a word. You answer with another word. Any word. The first word you think of. Eh bien, shall we begin?
Go ahead.
Hastings, note down the words, please.
Oh, very well, Poirot.
Now, day.
Night.
Name.
Place.
Bernard.
Shore.
Monday.
Dinner.
Journey.
Ship.
Country.
Uganda.
Story.
Lions.
Bird gun.
Farm.
Shot.
Suicide.
Elephant.
Tusks.
Money.
Lawyers.
So, that is all. You are a good subject, mon capitaine.
You don't mean to tell me that rigmarole means anything to you?
Maybe not. But nevertheless, you are a good subject.
Well, if you don't need me anymore, I think I'll go upstairs and unpack. Shall I see you again before you leave, Mr. Poirot?
Yes, I should not be surprised.
Good. See you later.
Au revoir, mon capitaine. And now, my clever Hastings, you see it all, no?
Well, I don't know what you mean, Poirot.
Does that list of words tell you nothing?
Sorry, I'm afraid it doesn't.
Then I will assist you. To begin with, the Captain answered within the time limit. No pauses, no making up the mind. Day to night and place to name are normal associations. Then I give him Bernard, the name of the doctor, if he knew him. Evidently he does not. When I say Bernard, he says shore. Monday means dinner, country is Uganda. Story recalls the lion story he tells them. All natural. But now, notice. When I mention bird gun, I get the unexpected answer, farm. When I say shot, he answers at once, suicide. A man he knows commits suicide with a bird gun on a farm somewhere. Imbecile that I am! The great Hercule Poirot is hoodwinked.
What are you talking about?
Do you not see Hastings? That is the story the Captain Black told at the dinner Monday night.
Oh, I see. And you think that gave Maltravers the idea? You think he shot himself in the mouth with that bird gun?
Why not? Remember, the bird gun has a very tiny charge of powder. The bullet would remain lodged in the brain. All that would show would be the blood in the mouth. Come, Hastings. It is not too late.
Of course, but where?
To see once more this dead man. To Marsden Manor. Hastings, to Marsden Manor. Alas, Mrs. Maltravers, it is true. Your husband shot himself through the mouth with the bird gun.
You mean suicide?
It would seem so, madame.
But the insurance...
Naturally, madame, the suicide will void the policy. It is unfortunate, but what will you?
Oh, but this is impossible. My husband would never commit suicide. It's inconceivable.
But the evidence, madame, it is conclusive.
No. There must be some other explanation.
You mean murder, madame? Well, of course, that is always possible. But no, not likely, I'm afraid.
But you do admit it's possible. You just said it was possible.
Yes, of course, everything is possible. Have you any idea who might have wished to kill your husband?
Why, no. No, I haven't.
Madame, I have a suggestion. It is bizarre, no doubt, but perhaps if you are willing to help.
Oh, yes, of course, anything.
Madame, you are mediumistic. Perhaps if you would try...
Perhaps you're right. Perhaps I could get through to Richard. He might tell us what happened.
I am sure you could do it, madame.
Yes, I'll do it. Come back here tonight at 8 and bring Captain Black with you.
Eh bien, madame, I am sure you will succeed. Until 8, madame, au revoir. Maltravers, we are on time, as you see. Hastings and I have brought Captain Black with us.
I say, there's a bad storm coming up. Would that interfere with the experiment?
Certainly not, Mr. Hastings. This isn't mumbo-jumbo. The weather has nothing to do with it.
Well, let us proceed, huh?
Yes. Now, will you draw chairs up around this table, please? Now, Mr. Hastings, if you'll put out the lights.
Certainly.
Now remain perfectly quiet, please, no matter what you hear or see. Richard. Can you hear me, Richard? Can you hear me? If you can, rap. Rap 3 times. Did you hear that?
But of course, madame. Did you not tell him to rap 3 times?
That's how Richard always used to knock.
Perhaps he is outside.
No.
They say the suicide never rests, always returns.
Listen.
What was that?
The front door slammed.
What? No, Captain Black. It was but the thunder.
Poirot, I hear footsteps.
It's the wind, madame. I will close the door. I have locked it.
Don't do that. If it should open now.
By Jove, it is open.
He's there. There in the doorway.
I see nothing, madame.
I saw him, I tell you. My husband, you must have seen him too.
Look. She's right. He is there.
His hand. Look, it's pointing. What's that light coming from?
It's pointing at her.
Mon Dieu. Her hand. Her right hand. It is scarlet with blood.
Blood! Yes, it's blood! I killed him! I did it! Take it away! Take it away!
Lights!
Good heavens, Poirot, she's got away through that window.
Do not worry, mon capitaine. The good Inspector Japp outside will stop her.
Good heavens, that lovely creature, a murderer.
And a very clever one, my susceptible Hastings. After all, she could not know she would come up against the great Hercule Poirot. And she might even have fooled me if she had only taken off his shoe.
His shoe, Poirot?
Only with his toe could he himself have pulled the trigger of this bird gun. And parbleu, his shoes were still on when they found him.
But I don't understand. This seance, was it all fake?
Mais certainement. She meant to pull the sheep. Wool. Very well, wool. But it was I who pulled the sheep's wool over her eyes. Thanks to my good friend Henri Dubois, who played the part of the husband's ghost, and Papa Poirot, who put the red paint on her hand in the dark.
But what was her idea in having this seance?
Parbleu, mon capitaine. Do you not see? Madame, she will go into the trance. She will hear the voice. She will come out from the trance. She will, with great reluctance, name the murderer.
You mean she meant to confess?
Mais non, mon capitaine. She meant to name you.
You have been listening to Murder Clinic. Murder Clinic, the WOR Mutual series which brings to you each week one exciting case. Tonight, the tragedy of Marsden Manor, with Agatha Christie's unique detective Hercule Poirot. Original music was composed by Ralph Barnhart and conducted by Bob Stanley. This program was an international exchange feature over the coast-to-coast network of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Tales told on Murder Clinic are adaptations by authors Lee Wright and John A. Bassett. Murder Clinic is produced under the direction of Alvin Flanagan. Frank Knight speaking.
The Canadian show Murder Clinic, heard in the U.S. in 1942. Now a family favorite that cheered us during the war years, The Lone Ranger.
Hello, Silver, away! A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty, Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. around the campfire, in the early days of the western United States, stories were told of the masked rider of the plains, and these stories have come down to us through the generations. His strength and courage were always on the side of right against might. His daring and resourcefulness brought law and order to the lawless frontier and blazed the trail for the winning of the West. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver! We're heading for Rainbow Bend. How's waiting for us? How, Silver,
Sam Birdwell ran the only store in Rainbow Bend. It was the only store in over 400 square miles of rangeland, and every settler and rancher bought supplies there with one exception. Sam Birdwell had never sold any groceries or supplies to Dirk Kincaid, the man who owned the biggest spread in the section. But one day...
Sam, look who's coming into the store.
Yeah, I see him tie up to the hitching rail.
It's Kincaid. Kincaid and his foreman Gonzales.
You better get him back, Deborah. They're coming in.
Remember, Sam, he's the biggest rancher around these parts. If he wants anything, you sell it.
You get him back. Dirk Kincaid himself. Coming to my store.
Howdy.
Howdy.
Birdwell, my name is...
I know your name. Kincaid.
My foreman here, Gonzales, dropped around yesterday to buy some grub and supplies. He didn't get them.
I got other customers.
Yeah. Well, my lazy K-ranchers will need some grub, Savvy. Reckon you can sell?
Well, I'm sort of out of a lot of food. A long trip to Los Angeles to get more.
Yeah, that's what I'm figuring. So far, I've been doing my buying of Los Angeles. But like you say, it's a long travel. So I'm buying and you're selling.
If I got what you want.
You're bacon, ain't you? Gonzales?
Si, Senor Kincaid.
That Fletcher bacon hanging yonder. Hustle it down and put it on this here counter. All right, Birdwell. Here's your knife. Slice that bacon up for me.
Slice it?
You heard me, Birdwell? I want it sliced.
But the cook on your spread, he can do that.
Senor Kincaid, I am handy with a knife. Very handy. You want I slice this?
Gonzales, you're always itching to use your knife. Put it away. I'm asking Birdwell.
So?
Pick up that knife, Birdwell, and be sure you slice it thin the way I like it. And, just in case, here's my six-shooter resting right on the counter. Now, start.
How's that?
Thinner, I tell you.
All right. No, by gravy, I won't do it.
Birdwell, pick up that knife.
No, Kincaid, I ain't selling you nothing. Not a thing. I sell to most folks, but not to you.
Pick up that knife and start slicing.
No, you're an ornery, scheming crook. You own the biggest spread this side of the high Sierras. But you rustle cattle, you steal horses. You're a poison-side whining rattler. Maybe other folks do what you order, but not me. Now get out.
No man can talk to me like that. If you got a gun and I try to reach for it, I'm going to blast you to...
Do not shoot.
But then somebody... Injun, get out of here and mind your own business, Savvy.
You put gun back. Right away. Hondo.
All right, go on your head. I'm doing like you say.
Good for you, me come in store, huh?
Yeah, Injun, only I... Look out, Gonzales has a knife.
The next time I draw my gun, the bullet may not hit your knife.
Fastest draw I ever seen. Mister, you saved the Injun for sure.
Sure, you're hopping out with outlaws, eh, Birdwell?
Tonto and I never saw Birdwell before, and he never saw us. We came here for supplies, but we heard enough outside. Kincaid, are those your horses at the hitching rail?
Supposing they are.
The door's still open. You and your foreman can make tracks right now.
Looky here, mister.
You heard me. On your way.
Come on, Gonzales. I'm going. What I said still goes, Birdwell. You won't sell grub or supplies for Lazy K, huh? Well, you're stacking up trouble for yourself, a heap of trouble. And it won't be long in coming. Adios.
I reckon I'm a plummet, mister. Kincaid sure means what he says. Now I've got you in trouble, too.
Well, Tonto and I are used to trouble, Birdwell. We were glad to help.
Sam, are you all right?
Sure, Deborah, sure.
I was out and back taking a walk. I was so nervous I couldn't stay in the back room. And then I heard that shot. What did Kincaid try to do?
He tried to do plenty, Deborah.
You sure you ain't hurt?
I said he tried. Only the masked man and the Indian stopped him cold.
Masked man and Indian? Who are you talking about?
These two gents right here. Well, I'll be hogtied. They're gone. I don't even know their names. I'd sure like to have them on my side.
Kincaid wasn't fooling when he said there'd be trouble.
Senor Kincaid, almost here back to the Lazy K Ranch. All the way from town, you're saying nothing.
I've been figuring out what to do, Gonzales. Gonna get it all shit now. As soon as we get to the ranch house, get some of the boys, savvy?
Yeah?
They're riding to every spread around here, to every rancher and southern townsman, to every single soul who buys from Birdwell. They're buying from him no more. Birdwell don't sell to me. He don't sell to nobody.
Hey, you rich man. I got message from Senor Kincaid. He said nobody trade with Birdwell. Huh? Nobody, savvy? You stop trade with Birdwell pronto, Richmond. Or Kincaid, he don't like it. Much better you do like Kincaid tell you, eh? Remember.
Master's him in a hurry. There'll be no more trading at Birdwell's. I'm giving the orders. Don't trade at Birdwell's, that's all.
Nobody's going to the store. Not me, not me.
Birdwell won't sell to me, he won't sell to nobody.
Sure, Kincaid, sure, whatever you say. You're top men around these parts. If you say so, I stop buying from Birdwell right this minute. There's Carney. Carney! Hey, Carney, ring up a second, will you?
Howdy, Birdwell.
Birdwell. You get mighty offish all of a sudden. You always used to call me Sam.
Well,
Why don't you drop in the store for a minute?
Can't. That is, I'm in an all-fired hurry.
I didn't notice that. Your horse was just ambling along.
Well, I am.
Oh. Say, need a new vest, Carney? I just got in a supply of the fanciest you ever seen. Real antelope and stitched with red beads from back east.
Nope, I don't need nothing. Besides, you gotta get going.
Connie, what's ailing everybody?
Yeah, let go of that rein, will you?
Connie, I'm asking you. What's wrong? Why ain't nobody been in my store? Why ain't you been in?
Well, you ought to know why, Sam. I've been told it'd be healthier not to.
You mean Kincaid, don't you?
I'd rather not mention any names.
Don't have to. I suspicioned it. But I thought you fellas had more gumption.
Kincaid's a tough arm in your aisle, Sam.
He's one man, ain't he? You and all the rest put together could stand up against him. Connie, you know what kind of skunk he is.
I gotta travel.
I did what any man with backbone would do. I counted on you fellas to keep trading with me.
Leave go of the reins, Sam.
Nobody knows better than you that Kincaid's a coyote.
He handles his guns too good for argument. Leave go of the reins, Sam.
Carney! Carney! It ain't no use yelling. Kincaid's got him scared to a frazzle. Every last one of them. I gotta do something. I gotta. That does for one gun. Now the other. So.
Who's that? Sam. Sam, where are you going?
You get back to bed, Deborah.
It's the middle of the night, Sam. What on earth You're wearing guns.
I got a little business to attend to.
And your horse. All saddled and ready. Sam, what's on your mind? Where are you going?
I'll be back right soon.
No. Now, wait. Let me see your face. You're trying not to look at me.
Deborah, where I'm heading for ain't a woman's business.
Kincaid. You're going after Kincaid. Answer me, Sam. You're going to shoot it out with Kincaid.
A man's got a right to protect his business.
He'll kill you. It's a dead shot.
I'll take my chances. It's better than starving.
Because nobody trades at our store. You can't go gunning for.
Kincaid's an ornery snake. He thinks he can run this section. He thinks he can ruin me because I prefer to do business with good people.
You can't. There's a law in gunfighting.
Law? What good's laws when nobody uses them? And friends, too. I thought I had plenty. But what good's friends if they won't stand behind you?
Oh, you can't blame them for knuckling under to Kincaid.
I ain't blaming them, Deborah. But I'm settling this. I got it.
Sam, no. No, come back.
Let go of me. My mind's made up.
Sam, you can't.
I'm calling them out, Deborah, tonight. As soon as I get to his ranch. Give me a kiss for luck.
Sam.
Deborah, Get up, boss. Get up there.
Sam.
see that?
In clear and moonlight.
Looked like Birdwell pushing his horse plenty hard.
That's right.
Come along.
Go to the store?
Yes. I noticed the light through the window in the back. You see it? Did you see that, Tonto? The door just closed. It was a woman. You see her in the lamplight.
That's Birdwell's wife, huh?
It must have been. Come on, Tonto. Hello! Hello in there.
Listen. Woman crying, huh?
Yes, we're going in, Tonto. Mrs. Birdwell?
The masked man. That engine with you. Move one step closer now. Pull this trigger.
Tonto and I are your husband's friends.
Oh, we help?
A masked man. Yeah. Sam did say something about it. Well, you helped him before, but you
We
can't.
saw your husband making tracks. Where's he going?
I tried to stop him. Kincaid will kill him.
Kincaid? Is that where he's heading?
Sam was going plumb loco, seeing how Kincaid made everybody stop trading here. Sam took his guns. He's going to call Kincaid out.
Tonto, look after Mrs. Birdwell.
Let me do it.
Masked man, where you going?
I'm going after your husband. Here's Silver.
Let me get masked man. You go after him.
Come on, Silver, come on.
Him go after him.
He's got to get there in time. He's got to.
Him go plenty fast.
Harold Silver, away!
Kincaid, wake up.
What in blazes? And Silver, she loco?
Both well, him outside the ranch house.
Yeah.
Sure, you listen.
Come on, Kincaid. Come on out and bring your guns. I aim to call you.
Well, be it. That dumb rabbit needs it. He aims to fight a can do it with me. Give me that gun, Pronto.
Yes, senor. You fix him good, eh?
That silly sack can outshoot Birdwell from here to breakfast. When I get through out there, he'll be face down in the dust, ready for a gravestone. Come on.
Now to continue our story. Birdwell was determined to end, once and for all, Kincaid's attempt to ruin his business.
Come on out, Kincaid. Come out or I'll come in and drag you out. Who's that?
It's Gonzales, Birdwell. I come to tell you, Kincaid, he'll be out very soon.
Oh, he better.
What is wrong? You scared, eh?
Maybe I am. I ain't much of a hand for gunfighting, but I'm going through with it.
You end up 6 feet under.
Yeah, so be it then. I'll get away, you ornery knife throat.
Sure, I leave you by yourself now.
That you, Kincaid?
Well, if it ain't Birdwell.
Come out in the moonlight where I can see you.
So you come gunning for me, eh, Birdwell?
Come out where I can see you fair.
I can let you have it right from here.
Yeah, I reckon you could. I reckon that's the way you like to fight, too. I ain't toted a gun for years, but I still got nerve enough to use them. Now, come on out. It's you or me, Kincaid. Come out and get
it. Silver!
Kincaid, did he pass?
Come on, Birdwell. You're coming with me.
Let go of me, masked man. Set me down.
Have you staying on this horse until you're away from me?
Doggone you, mister.
Save it. We'll talk later. Come on, Silver. Pass the boy. Harold Silver, away!
Well, this is far enough. We'll talk here, Birdwell.
Ain't no good stopping me, masked man. I'll go back there as soon as I can. I gotta face out Kincaid once and for all.
If I hadn't come along, you'd have been killed.
It would have been a fair fight.
It would not.
Huh?
I saw the flash of Kincaid's guns as I rode up. He had them drawn. He was ready to shoot.
You mean he
Yes,
was...
from the porch before you could see him. He had no intentions of giving you the slightest chance.
Why, that low-down polecat, I ought to
Besides, Birdwell, he wouldn't stand a chance against a gunfighter like Kincaid, even face to face with an equal draw.
Yeah, I knew that. But thunderation, mister, a man's got his pride. Kincaid's ruined me. I can't take it lying down.
You still have your friends?
Friends? What good are friends when they don't stand by you? There ain't one of them dares to come into my store.
I'm not so sure of that, Birdwell.
It's true. Not one of them dared stand up against Kincaid's orders.
Sometimes it takes people a long time to act.
Yeah, too long, masked man. Too long.
Sometimes it isn't until someone is gone that his friends realize they should have helped.
Masked man, the way you said that, like Like you had some kind of plan up your sleeve.
Would you be willing to do as I tell you?
Mister, you saved me twice. I reckon I'll do anything you say.
All right. I'm riding back to Rainbow Bend, but you'll stay here.
What? Well, I don't savvy.
You will, Birdwell. Now listen.
Indian, is that...
That friend, that Silver. Hi.
Steady, Silver. I got there in time, Kemosabe.
Mister was my husband. Where's Sam? His horse come back, but the saddle was empty.
Your husband is unharmed, Mrs. Birdwell. I left him up in the hills for the time being.
What?
Kincaid was going to shoot him without giving your husband a chance to reach his guns. He could have done...
Mister, if Sam ain't hurt, why didn't he come back here?
I have a plan to help him. That's part of the plan.
Mister, you ain't lying to me. Sam ain't...
Friend, always tell truth.
Your husband isn't even scratched, Mrs. Birdwell. You've got to believe that.
Mister, I reckon I do believe it.
Fine.
There's something about you that makes me trust you. You say you got a plan to help Sam.
By refusing to sell to Kincaid, your husband has lost all of his trade, hasn't he?
Yes.
Yet everyone is friendly with him?
Oh, everybody. If it weren't for Kincaid's orders, they'd still be buying.
Very well, Mrs. Birdwell. I want you to hitch up your wagon.
Huh?
I want you to make the rounds of all your friends, the ones who are afraid to stand up against Kincaid. I want you to tell them your husband went to call on Kincaid, and he didn't come back.
But, mister, if I say that, they'll think Sam's been done for.
Yes, they will. They'll jump to that conclusion.
But it'll take nigh on to 2 days to get to all of them. They're all spread out.
Then take 2 days. Tonto can go with you.
What about you, masked man? You coming along?
With this mask? No, I'll stay here. I have some work to do. You call on everyone you can.
Yes, masked man. Yes, and I'll tell him just what you told me to say.
But, masked man, I've been setting up here nigh on to 2 days now. I ought to be down in my store.
Why? You have no business to attend to?
Well, maybe I ain't.
You promised you'd stay here till I told you to leave. You've got to keep that promise.
All right, I will. But, hey, mister, where you going?
Here, Silver.
Mister, where you going this time?
Look out there across the slope toward Rainbow Bend.
My eyes ain't as good as yours, mister.
It's a wagon. Your wife's coming back.
Well, I'm sure
No, Birdwell. It's getting dark. I can go down there and meet them, but you stay here. Come on, Silver.
It's the masked man in Chirina.
Friend. Oh,
Kemosabe.
Hi.
Well, masked men, we've done it. Me and Tonto must have covered nigh under 70 miles, but we told them all.
They're coming into Rainbow Bend?
In the morning. It's just like you figured, mister. They all jumped to the conclusion that Sam was done for. I sure had a hard time not letting them know Sam was alive and well. He is, ain't he?
He's fine. How did they take the news?
Ask the Injun. They was plumb ashamed of themselves.
That's right. You must be tired, Mrs. Birdwell.
I'd like to see Sam.
Now, you'll see him in the morning. Now, look up there into the twilight. You see that fire winking on the hill?
Is that where Sam is?
That's the camp. You sure those friends will be here?
Positive, mister.
Good. I brought Scout for you, Tonto. Time for us to make tracks.
Me come.
Now, you go home and get some sleep, Mrs. Birdwell. And in the morning, you lead all of Sam's friends up on that hill. Understand?
I sure will, mister. Good night.
Good night.
Adios. What we do now, Kemosabe?
I've been watching Kincaid's ranch every night, Tonto. Kincaid's been on the lookout for Birdwell. What's more, Kincaid believes I'm with Birdwell. He thinks the two of us are dangerous, and we interfere with his rule of the district.
Tonto's happy now.
So far, I've made sure Kincaid or his men didn't see me. But this time, I'm making sure they do. Come on, Tonto.
Get him up, Scout.
Come on, Silver. On the trail.
Middle of the night, and shall be watched for a long time. Maybe Kincaid, he was wrong about this masked hombre. Maybe the masked hombre and Birdwell, if I most it. Hey, what is that? Horses. He's still right, huh?
No sign of Kincaid up yet, Tonto.
All asleep.
They might just as well get back to Birdwell.
We do that. Where Birdwell now?
On the hill south of town, Tonto.
We go sleep, huh?
We've been up most of the night, Kemosabe. Yes, we'll head back for camp.
So, time for me to tell Kincaid. He knows he'll be waiting.
It's getting lighter, masked man. See him yet?
We were close enough to Gonzales last night, so he could hear Tonto and me talking Birdwell. I'm sure Kincaid has been told.
What
is it, Tonto?
Look, there. Off that way.
Two riders crossing the ridge.
I can't make him out at all.
It's Kincaid and Gonzalez. It must be. They'll be here in about an hour.
And that's right.
And there's no doubt what they plan to do.
Dry gulch, eh?
What else? All right, Tonto, on your way.
Yes, Scout.
Head down into Rainbow Bend. Get to Mrs. Birdwell and make sure she comes up here pronto.
Me, Sammy.
You'll make certain those friends come along, too. Hurry, Tonto.
Me tell him. Get him up, Scout.
Now, Birdwell, you know what our plan is?
Yeah, masked man. If them hombres want to surprise this campfire, then
that's just what we'll let them do. It shouldn't take them long.
Well, get your horse, Gonzalez. The campfire's right ahead.
Yeah, the smoke's getting this way.
Can't hear a sound. Reckon this'll be like shooting at a target.
Senor, what is that?
Sounds like horses. Gonzalez, spread that mosquito pot. Look out. Well?
Senor, it is the Indian. Even the woman, Mrs. Bortwell, and all the people. They're coming this way. Look.
What the... Yeah.
Senor, maybe we better go, eh?
Let them do it. We still got time. Follow me.
What's Kincaid?
Look, yonder's a camp. Stop. Cast your eyes on that, Gonzalez. Two of them wrapped up in blankets, not more than 50 yards down from us.
There is a white hat. That must be the masked hombre, eh?
Yeah, the other's Birdwell. Can't see his face, but he's got that spotted vest at his side behind the blanket.
Which one I shoot?
You take Birdwell and I'll get the masked man.
If we start shooting those below, they come fast, no?
Let them. We still have time to get to our horses and get away.
All ready, Kincaid. I take Birdwell, yes?
Yeah. All right, Gonzalez. Now. What's more?
That is fine, eh? They do not even stir.
Dinner and mackerel, both of them. Now, come on. We gotta make tracks.
Faster, Kincaid.
Come on. The horses are right past this clump.
What's up?
What in blazes the masked man?
Drop those guns. Move.
And Bortwell, it is impossible. They are both dead.
I suppose you notice that you cold cat. You drop those bullets into logs under the blankets, Kincaid. Now drop those guns.
No, fight it up, Gonzalez. Give him a...
Knock the guns clean into the bushes. And look, masked man. Here comes Deborah and all the rest of them.
Deborah, you're all right.
I ain't even scratched Deborah. Howdy, Carney. Howdy, Sam. Howdy.
One of you gents keep your eye on these two ornery skunks.
I got him, Carney.
Sam, I reckon we owe you an apology. It weren't until we thought you was dead that we realized we let ourselves be bulldozed by a polecat.
We should have stood up against Kincaid right from the first.
Just a minute. Hold on a minute.
It's a masked man. Quiet, you fellas. Quiet.
Tonto and I are going. But first, I'd like to say a word to you men. Sam Birdwell did what every one of you wanted to do. He stood up against oppression and wrong.
He sure did.
Yet each of you was a little too lazy. Yes, and a little bit afraid to back him up until you realized what might have happened to Sam.
Yeah, we thought he was dead.
Yes, Carney. But from now on, I've got a feeling that you'll act like true Americans. You'll remember to stick together all the way. To fight oppression and wrong no matter where you find it.
Mister, these polecats are on their way to the calaboose.
Adios to all of you. Come on, Kemosabe.
There you go, Sam. The masked man and his Indian pard. I just wonder where we'd be if he didn't come along to help folks out.
Oh, Deborah, we won't think about that now. For a gent that's supposed to have been dead, I'm full of ginger. How about it, gents? Is my store open for business again, or ain't it?
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.
I'm Dennis Daly. Thanks for going along on our journey through the final 25 years of radio. Radio's golden years. Join me again next time.